What does it mean to be saved? What are we saved from? And what are we saved for? Christians talk a lot about how to be saved, but what does it even mean to be saved? In order to understand this, understand that every human being in the Christian interpretation of the world is created as a little image or copy of God. This isn't something that we can choose or not choose. It's just a fact of our existence, more basic than the fact that we have eyes or hands or feet. And this fact means that sin, even though it might feel good in the moment, is always going to make us bitterly unhappy. It fulfills a momentary passion, but on a real level, it is contrary to everything we are. If you cheat on your spouse, you might feel good for a little while, but years down the road, having deeply hurt the very person you promised to love forever and broken the hearts of your children, that choice has only made you miserable. In the Bible, Jesus Christ compares himself with a doctor. He says that he came for those who are sick, calling sinners to repentance. We have all broken not just God's law, but the very self which God has created. We've broken the people we were meant to be and brought misery to the world at large. But we can also see that human beings are more than this. We read the news and not only read of greed, selfishness, and bloodshed, but also about people who act to protect the innocent, who spend their lives caring for other people or helpless animals. And these are the kinds of people that we find attractive. These are the kinds of people that at a basic level we want to be more like. But how? How can we be like this and be like this perfectly? How, given that we all in different ways have broken and hurt the world, can we make that right? Everything in the world, according to Christianity, comes from God's mind. He thought everything up. When you intend to create something, the goodness of that thing is measured by how closely it approximates the idea that you have in your mind concerning it. A good contractor will be able to precisely replicate the blueprint which is given to him at the beginning of the contract. In the same way, the goodness of everything in the world is measured by the degree to which it expresses the life of God who created it. And since we are made in God's image, we cannot help but be attracted to those things which remind us on a deep, pre-conscious, pre-verbal sense of God. This sense of divine beauty was marred but not destroyed by our turning away from God at the beginning of our history. Most people, beholding great acts of kindness, instinctively find such acts beautiful. What does this tell us about God? Think about what we are seeing when we see goodness. When someone surrenders their own life to care for others, that is good. When a man throws himself in front of a bullet to save his wife and his children, that is good. When a person uses time that could have been spent on trite pleasures protecting helpless animals, that is good. Our sense of goodness seems to have something to do with the sense of otherness, that our meaning and purpose is found not by turning inwards, but by turning outwards. We find our real self by finding the world outside ourselves and doing it good. But if goodness tells us something about God, what does this suggest about who God is? It suggests that God himself is other-centered. Only Christianity really explains, therefore, our sense of goodness. If God is the measure of the goodness of all things, and God is eternally alone, then how could going outside of ourselves to serve others be good? Christianity teaches that God exists as a perfect communion of love. God the Father eternally embracing the Son in love by the Spirit, and receiving the thanksgiving and love of the Son by the same Spirit. We were made to love, and we were made to love like God. That is what will make us happy forever. But we don't. We hurt others in ways we can't take back. We serve ourselves for momentary pleasures and find misery hurtling at us like a train. How can we be saved from ourselves? How does God repair the world? Next time, we'll talk about God's plan for saving the universe.